The WIEN Women podcast series is an initiative of the Women in Energy Network and features carefully curated conversations with female entrepreneurs and professionals across the oil, gas, power, and renewable energy sectors in Africa. The conversations in this series seek to redefine female leadership in an industry that is still largely male-dominated.
In each episode, we interview a WIEN woman about how they did it, what they wish they knew prior to starting, and what advice they have for upcoming leaders in this industry. Get ready to be lifted, empowered, and inspired. Hi, I am Charlotte Essiet.
And I'm Rolake Akikugwe-Feloni, and you're welcome to Season 2 of the WIEN Woman podcast.
Today we have a beautiful young woman.
Yes.
Who is one of us in the Women in Energy, and she's Oghale. I'll let Rolake.
Oghale Ariawhorai.
Ariawhorai. Fantastic. We
I
struggled.
think you did a great job.
Yeah. We did some rehearsals and obviously it paid off.
Tell us how to pronounce that name properly.
So it's Oghale Ariawhorai.
Oghale Ariawhorai. I love it. I really love Nigerian names.
Great. Welcome.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Yeah. So you're the Senior Vice President and
Senior Vice President, Customer and Partner Success at Arnergy Solar.
Arnergy Solar. Arnergy is a solar energy company.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Actually, we think of ourselves more as a clean tech company.
Oh, I love that.
Yes. So we're not so we
clean tech.
Yes, clean tech. Because we have our own proprietary tech that allows customers to see how their systems are doing at home. So you can remotely monitor it, see when you have the grid, see when the grid is off and all that. So that's why we call ourselves a clean tech company. So we're not just selling solar.
We take that back.
We get it. Clean tech company, Arnergy.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Arnergy. Yeah.
So what we know about you is that you did 12 years in FMCG. And then you walked beautifully, strolled, catwalked into the energy sector.
I know.
How did that happen?
So you know how it is when you're starting your career, right? You go where the opportunity is, and I did, and I enjoyed my time in the FMCG sector. But I always knew at some point I wanted to go somewhere where I felt like I was doing a little bit more. So at some point I was looking at NGOs, but when you start looking at NGOs and senior levels, you need some kind of prior experience. So if it's medical sector, are you a doctor? Have you been in that sector? Same with education as well. And then, the world, everything's about sustainability now, and going green, clean energy and all. And when the opportunity came and I was like, okay, this could be it, right? Let's do this. It's energy, it's power, you have it in your home. How hard can it be? I was in for a surprise.
You were in for a surprise.
Yeah, and it's clean.
And it's clean. It's clean. It's clean tech. Yeah. I told myself, this is what I've been looking for. Right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, and of course, the tech side would have synced with your engineering background. But before we even delve into the clean tech world and what you're doing now, tell us a bit about your journey, briefly, your life up to this point.
Okay, so like I said, I started my career in FMCG with P&G to be exact. I loved every minute of it. I actually did 2.5 years in East Africa while I was with P&G.
Nice.
I mean, I would not trade my time with P&G for anything in the world. It built me, it developed me, and it made me see the world a lot more than it was, right? And then afterwards, I moved to AB InBev. So AB InBev is in the drinks sector. So it was similar but different. Like I told people, it's like reading the same book, but like there's another version of it. That again was interesting as well. And it allowed me, and one of the good things that working in FMCGs did was that it allowed me to build a lot of different skills. So I started out as a project associate, then a project manager, then a program manager. I did a lot of IT projects, tech projects, operations, going to another country on my own. I was single then, I wasn't married. It just, like I said, it expanded my worldview. Then when I went to AB InBev, I had the opportunity to do a lot more. I did innovative projects. I worked with marketing. I worked with sales. I was in operations. I was in finance. At some point, I was managing OPEX.
Right.
And my friends were like, okay, every time they asked me, they're like, what are you doing? My friends said, what are you doing now? Right? That was always the question.
Because you're always changing
Yes, I was
like
always,
a chameleon.
and at some point, sometimes you're wondering, what am I even doing here? But somehow, all that is
always a
preparing
lesson.
you.
Yes.
All that is preparing you for a future that you don't know about yet. So I took it all in stride. And if I do say so myself, I am smart and adaptable. So, so everywhere.
Sharp as razor.
We have an Amazon boss lady in this season. Don't judge a book by its cover.
Not
The
at all.
form, petite.
So I think even how did I start managing the OPEX of my company? So when I joined AB InBev then, I was just managing a small subsect and doing innovative projects. But our GM then, Annabelle, she was a lady, and I think she just took to me and she just said, oh, I want you to start managing the entire commercial OPEX. And then afterwards, I started managing the entire business OPEX. And it opened my eyes to a lot of things that you wouldn't see just doing projects, just doing daily operations and all that. It allowed you to see the business holistically. And I guess it was preparing me for the future. So when it was time to move, I think, like I said, I always felt, I think I was getting restless. I
see that already.
I think I was getting restless.
Nice,
I think I was getting restless. And I told someone something that the FMCGs made me comfortable, right? They made me comfortable, not in a bad way. Not in a bad way. So I told someone that when you are in the FMCG, at the start of the year, there's someone who is on you, asking you, you need to make a training plan. What trainings are you going to do?
Yes.
How are you going to better yourself? So it's like, you're comfortable. But when you come
You're
out
catered for.
Yeah, you're catered for. But when you come out of that, you have to start looking after yourself. And I felt like maybe I needed that push, right? So that I can, go to the forest and forage for myself. Someone wasn't just, someone was just telling you, oh, these are the trainings you need to do. Make sure you have it done. There was a tracker. You were reported if you didn't do it. So, something like that. So I felt like, okay, maybe I needed to, and this was the time to take the risk. And if it didn't work, I could, I felt like I still had the time to go back to the drawing board and see what else was out there.
There's always an opportunity in everywhere, be it in a dark side or in a light.
Yeah.
Listening to you, like Rolake said, there's another Amazon seat. I just said this was sharp as fast, a new blade. So listening to you, it just tells us that there's everything you had to do with your life, from FMCG to the energy to the clean tech world now, which is energy. What are those major opportunities that you saw that looking back now you would have said, maybe I would have taken it in a different way? So let me help you here. So if you worked in P&G, for example, and you were out of town, so possibly in whichever parts of East Africa, and looking at some opportunities you thought were great, but in your older self now, you're like, maybe I should have done it differently.
Yes. So it's funny that you picked on that. So at the time when I went to East Africa,
really? What part of East Africa?
Kenya.
Abo.
Yes, I was based in Kenya. The funny thing was I was having something. There was a tragedy that happened in Kenya recently with the school, and my mom tapped me. I was like, "Is that not your country?" And I'm like, yes, mommy. Yes, mommy, it is. I'm like, but obviously it's not my country, but you get what I mean. So I was in Kenya then, and I was a bit young then in my career. And I was a bit, I won't say I was a bit overwhelmed. I think I didn't appreciate enough the opportunity that was given to me. Right? I mean, I just felt, okay, I needed to work hard and, do what I usually do. But stepping back, I look back and I was like, wow, you were given this opportunity at that junior level in the company. And if I were to look back, there were a lot more things that I would have done. A lot more things I would have done to build my visibility, a lot more things that I would have done to, better myself. I probably would have learned the language, done a couple of, yes. Yeah. I mean, just for it.
Yes,
just for it.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Just, not, and whenever I meet, so in my current life now, whenever I meet anyone from Kenya, I always bond with them. I always bond with them. So I did a course earlier this year. It was with Oxford. It was a short leadership course, but there was someone in my group that was from Kenya. And immediately I just bond them. I'm like, Jambo, Habari. And they're like, hey, and we just start talking. Nice. And I wish I learned a little bit more. I wish I absorbed a lot more about the culture.
Sure.
Apart from that, I wish I engaged a little bit
Okay.
more, and I went to other countries as well. So I was based in Kenya, but I
Yeah,
was
but you
managing,
traveled around.
Uganda, Tanzania. I went to Ethiopia once or so, and I wish I did more with it.
Okay.
Yeah, I wish I did more
Well,
with
I
it.
like the fact that you're sort of acknowledging opportunities that you could have grabbed a bit more, but they sometimes they come in cycles, right? And you're now in this space that is like the future, right? So I could argue here's another opportunity that presents itself now with Arnergy.
That allows you to run to Tanzania again.
Exactly. Clean tech solar. Solar is big across Africa, obviously, renewable energy, the energy transition. So tell us about your current role now. Senior Vice President at Arnergy. We know the founders, very kind of progressive. What is that like? What is that experience like? What are some of the highlights of the work you're doing?
So, so when I came in, before I joined Arnergy, they had a thriving customer experience team and department. What we didn't have at that time was a partnership department per se. And the idea is, I always tell, whenever I try to explain partnership to people, I say, there's a saying, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go with others.
Yeah.
And that's the idea. So Arnergy wants to expand, and we're like, who are the key people we're going to partner with, are going to help the expansion? And we're looking across the spectrum. Sometimes when you take partnerships, people think, okay, big partners, right? So we are looking across the spectrum. So from the big partners to the medium-sized ones, to technical partners, to financial partners. So we're looking across the
Commercial
spectrum.
partners as well.
Yeah, commercial partners as well, to see how best we can grow. So for me, I sort of like set up the partnership like, okay, do we want to work with distributors? Which ones? Do we want to work with resellers? Which one? Do we want to work with installers? Which ones? And then as well,
It's a full value chain.
yes, looking at the full value chain. And I was telling some people recently that one of the comforts it gives me is that the difference between this and FMCG is that my goods don't have 6 months to 2 years to expire. So not that
Lead
makes
time.
The life cycle of a battery is what, like 6 to 7 years?
Yeah, so not that it makes me relax or anything, but it's a different kind of pressure.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Like when I was in AB and Bev, the goods, a beer takes like 6 months to expire. So everything is
Just 6 months?
yes.
Wow.
Bali.
Okay.
That's why they call it fast moving. That fast
Consumer.
there. Yes.
It's not just getting it to the shelf and getting it off the shelf.
It's fast moving, so everything is fast. So it's not that this is slower per se, but it allows you to take a breath and look at the structure, see what you're doing.
It has its own dynamics.
Yes,
Yeah.
it does.
It's so it's not even you taking a break, because whilst you have the larger lifespan in terms of lead time, you have to conquer as much.
Yes.
So that's
So
the
if
pressure.
so if you miss a customer, you've missed the customer.
For a
Yeah.
lifetime.
Right? And again, if they get a quality solar system, that means you've missed them for like what, the next 6 years before they
True,
want
before
another.
you can,
Do you
yeah.
understand?
So
If they
I
get
would
a quality
actually take
system.
that this is even more pressure because it's more revenue off the table for 6 years.
Yes,
Yes.
it's more. Yeah, it's more revenue off the table. So we had an event recently, and talking to people, and people say, "Oh, your system looks nice," but I already have a solar system. So you're like,
Okay.
do you get, like,
What else can you offer them?
You missed, and it's not like you can say, okay, let me give you an additional battery just for the sake of it. No, it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. And then I hadn't had a lot of experience working with customer success. So this was also a teaching and a learning experience. So I have had experience working with partners. I hadn't had much experience working with customer success. So I had a lot of experience with partnerships and working with partnerships, but I didn't have a lot of experience with customer success. So it was a bit of a teaching journey and a learning journey as well. Learning, the importance of managing your customers, making sure that they have a great experience with the company, and they being like ambassadors of your company. You understand? And always keeping that in mind whenever you're dealing with them. So that has been something that I learned. So for me, even at this opportunity now, when I look back, and also, when I look back on my career and everything, I just realized that, okay, there are places where I should have stood out. There are places where I should have asked for what I wanted instead of waiting for something to happen to
To be
me.
handed over.
Right? And there were a lot of times that I remember doing that, like maybe waiting until appraisal to find out, thinking I was doing very good, or waiting to end of appraisals to find out
How
best I'd done and all that. And then now being on the other side where you then, appraise a lot of people, you realize those mistakes that you made, ask for what you want, at best, people will say no, then you know where you stand, as opposed to waiting for the whole year and waiting until appraisal, then being confused when it's not as great as you thought it was. And that's something that I'm teaching my team as well, right? First of all, know what you want. A lot of times we don't. Then ask for it. Yeah.
Know what you want and ask for it.
Ask for it.
I'll add one more to that. And also make it a two-way communication. So I know what I want, I ask for it, and I take feedback from you.
What do you expect of me? Yeah,
absolutely.
as well.
So, and the funny thing is, feedback is easier to take and get when you ask for it early.
You're prepared.
Early. Yeah.
So let's look at a financial year. It's the first quarter, and you tell your boss, oh, I'll very much like to be promoted by next year, or I would like to go to this department by next year. It's the beginning of the year. Your boss can give you feedback. For you to do that by next year, you need to do X, Y, Z. So you're open to getting feedback. Imagine if you wait for the entire year. And
you're looking for a promotion in the next
there's no
year.
promotion, and then your boss starts telling you, and you're thinking those are things I could have easily incorporated into this year that just passed, and then there's a resentment there, but it's
absolutely,
it was a bit your fault because you didn't say what you wanted.
The importance of seeking feedback early.
Yes,
absolutely.
So key.
If there's one thing I've learned along my career, that is what I always tell people: get feedback early. Get it early.
Grab it.
Yeah.
That's such a great lesson. So looking at sort of the Women in Energy Network and the role of women in the energy sector, what are the positives you've seen about networks like these? How has it impacted your career or your thinking around your career?
So I'm at the stage in my career where I know that I need to do a lot more networking than I've done earlier. That was what I was saying about FMCGs, sort of like coddling you in a good way, because everywhere I've worked, we always had women, previously it used to be women in there, women, we've always had women network, and it was right there accessible to you.
Yes.
But coming out of there, I had to say, okay, so where am I going to be getting my inspiration from? So I had to go find it. And then coming here, I remember asking someone who was already in the organization, okay, how do I do this? To be funny, I'm a bit shy.
Really?
Yes. I mean,
okay.
I have let me explain myself.
So
I have like bursts. No. So let me explain to you. Like I have bursts. I have bursts of inspiration.
Okay.
Right? You could meet me at another day and I'm very mellow. But today I'm like, okay, I'm doing a podcast. I need to bring it to the table. If any day, today is the day I should do it.
Okay.
So I asked her that, okay, how do I do this? She told me, look, you get out of it what you put into it. That's exactly what she told me. So when I joined, I said, you know what? I'm not just going to sit on the sidelines and wait for something to happen. Okay. So when this podcast thing came up, I was like, am I ready for this? Am I ready for this? And I was like, you know what? You get out of it what you put into it. So I just put myself up. And today I'm here. And I'm hoping that if somebody hears my story, they get inspired. Amazing. And they learn something from it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Charlotte.
What motivated you
to
get into the podcast? Apart from Rolake and I always say
it was what I said. Like before I joined the network, I asked someone who was already.
So it was strictly just what you had in your mind. It's not like it was an episode or not. Okay.
No. Yeah. Okay. So I'd seen a couple of episodes. I'd watched them. And I saw, again, I've been told you get out of it what you put into it. Mm-hmm. And so when the opportunity came, I was like, you can't just sit back and just continue to think that opportunities will come. Grab it. And then it gave me the opportunity to go back and watch previous podcasts. And I was like, wow. Okay. Right? I'd watched one or two. I know sometimes it comes and you click on it, you watch a couple of minutes of it, then you get distracted. But I settled down and I saw it was good. The rapport they always had. I liked it. Okay, I liked it. Great. And the visibility to give to you when you put it, your own personal brand, your own personal visibility.
Your touch,
your own touch. And I felt, this is not something I'm going to pass up on. I'm here. I'm in the network. Put yourself out there. Put yourself up for opportunities, and then you take it from there.
I feel like she should be a brand ambassador for this podcast, Charlotte. Don't you think?
I can't say. I think she's hit it as it is. That's why I kept saying, was there a motivation? Were you motivated yourself or something prompted? But she said exactly how it is.
Yeah.
Fantastic. I think we've had a fantastic time with you.
Yeah.
We weren't really sure what we're going to get, but we're like, you know what, let's just do it. But like Rolake said, you came out as sharp as a new razor blade. So this is us wishing you very well. we would see you again. I'm sure there'll be something that will pull us to see you.
Absolutely.
Not sure if it's another podcast, but I'm sure there's another event that would see this superpower that you just, this, how will I call it, 500 horsepower that you
I think 500 watts or kilowatt hours or
know,
you
right? One of the SI
solar
units.
panels.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Oghale Ariawhorai. I think I got it.
Yeah, you
It's
did.
been so great having you on the WIEN Woman podcast. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. I
Thank
really
you.
enjoyed it.